Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Been doing this for 21 and a half years. So glad to be part of your audience. Absolutely. You can find us on television. We are syndicated on Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Another way you can find us is on the radio, WZLA, located, I call it the biggest country station in South Carolina. You got to check them out, and we are so proud to be part of that team as well. You can find us on all the social media sites. You know, I still do Facebook, facebook.com/DFeazell. X, if it's social media, I'm doing it. I have a very special programming note right here with our Representative Ralph Norman. Congressman, welcome so much to the show. So glad to see you.
Donna, great to be with you. Thank you for what you're doing for really the whole state and translates to the country as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love South Carolina. My husband and I moved here about a year and a half later, and I'll tell you what, it's a great state to live in. Great state,
and people are moving here in droves, Donna. For every one person moving out, you have two people moving in, and problem is that they're fleeing states that have total government control: New York, Virginia, California. And so South Carolina's got a lot to be proud of, and we got to protect it.
Absolutely, we do. A friend of mine, Don Brown, he's an attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I lived for about 9 years. And so I talked with him a lot because they're being killed with taxes. And most of the people who have sent email, since they knew you were going to be on the show today, that's the number one topic right now. We're being killed with taxes. What would you advocate?
First of all, we're paying more in taxes than we are for food and lodging and medical care. Taxes. South Carolina's got some of the highest rates in the Southeast. We've got to do something about taking the tax burden off the South Carolinians. We can lower that, but you know, you can't lower taxes, which is income for the government, and not cut something. And that's the great part about it. We need to advocate for cutting things that are not essential, and we need to get back to the basics that matter to South Carolinians, which is affordability. And we don't have it in so many areas, particularly what the farmers are going through and what everyday Americans are going through. But South Carolina in particular, because we don't have an income problem, we got a spending problem, and we got to cure that, just like the federal government. I see it every day, Donna. They spend more than we make, and there will be a day of reckoning if we don't deal with it sooner rather than later.
Well, one thing's for sure, you can't run a business like that. I would be out of business in 2 months if I spent more than I had coming in. What can bring a little more credibility? How can folks have a better confidence in the folks who are in office?
Well, you know, if you look at where I will be going, which is the Senate, it's the graveyard for good ideas, like the Save America Act. I mean, that's all that is proving that you're an American citizen before you cast a ballot to vote. We can't get that passed. All the good bills that we put together in the House have just been non-existent when it comes to the Senate. And if it's not scratched all together, it's watered down so much. So what I will do as a senator is take the business experience that I've had over 40 years and apply that to Congress, namely the Senate, to start putting forth ideas that'll put money back in your pocket instead of taking it off. It's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to get rid of some people, advocate for those who, you know, continue to put their head in the sand over the spending issue. But it's a problem that we cannot keep going forward like we're going. So between making sure our elections are secure, voted on by only American citizens, and then not spending more than you make, that'll be a focus when I get there in January of 27.
Absolutely. You know, you're very popular in this neck of the woods, I must tell you. When I put the message out on social media yesterday, I asked for questions, and you got a lot of questions from our audience. And I'd like to go ahead and start with a couple of those. Okay, this is a common one. After serving in Congress, why is now the right time to make the move into the Senate?
Well, this country's at a crossroads. We're either going to go the way of other countries, which are totally a slave to debt, or we're going to get our financial house in order. At the end of this 6-year term, Social Security will be bankrupt. The Highway Trust Fund will be bankrupt. Medicare and Medicaid, if we don't have some changes, will be bankrupt as well. Guess who's stuck with the bill? Your children, my children, your grandchildren, my grandchildren. I'm simply not going to leave a state that's burdened by high taxes or a country that's burdened by high taxes. And I will fight to be a voice that this is why we need to tighten our belts and make the case to South Carolina. And I will go all over this country trying to recruit good people, business people who have signed the front and back of a paycheck, and people who have the best interests of the country. We cannot keep this spending spree going, Donna, and we cannot keep elections that potentially are unfair. And letting the illegals vote has got to come to a stop. And I will just be a strong voice of standing up, and I'll speak up.
I've got to say, I'm a farmer. Along with a lot of the shows are about cultivating. I got my credentials through Auburn University and about to go to Clemson. So I'm really excited about that as well. Sometimes old people keep going back to college, just can't get enough of it. But I wanted to ask you, and now a lot of farmers who have asked a lot of questions, they feel like they're being put out of business. And what I would consider, these folks, they go to the farmers markets here, we buy from them. It's important to keep them around. What can be done to advocate for them?
What I'll advocate for is the farmers are victims of price increases at every level. They have not had a decrease on anything from their growing crops. Many farmers now plowing them under because the cost to take them to market is less than what the commodity prices are that they're getting for it. So what we've got to do is advocate for energy independence. We've got to bring the price of gas down, which after the war's over, I think it will. We've got to cut regulations for farmers. I mean, what they have to go through is unfair. And I will go to the farmers in South Carolina and say, give me a concrete example of a bill we can work on to help you put more money in your pocket. And as Sonny Perdue once told me, the demise of the farmers will be for the benefit of China if we don't do something for the farming community. So we'll advocate for lower prices, lower regulations. I'll let them tell me what they need because many of them are in trouble right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Again, the cost just keeps going up and up. And I'm not anywhere near the level that our wonderful farmers are. And I'm just going to tell you, I love the interviews with my farmers.
They're
Those
great
guys
people.
have it going on. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Okay, so let me ask you a question here, and this comes from one of our listeners as well, is how would you work to attract higher paying jobs when protecting small businesses?
That's my wheelhouse, having run a development company for 40 plus years and still doing it through my son and my brother. I know the companies to attract. I know what not to give away. We need quality growth that will stand the test of time. And so I will go after the next BMW. I will go after the next Boeing. We're a right to work state. We don't have burdensome labor unions to try to deal with. I can read a balance sheet. I know what it takes to get them here, and I know what it takes to keep them here. We have got to be an advocate for vocational education too. Our technical schools are great sources of hiring people to fill the jobs once the companies come here. But I will be a advocate for recruiting and going after businesses that will fill a niche in South Carolina and will keep this state pristine like it is. And we got to watch after our natural resources. But I will be an advocate, and it's in my wheelhouse to do that because I've had to do it in my real estate company.
Let's talk about tech jobs. We have a wonderful tech center right here, Piedmont Tech. And I'm going to tell you what, I've been through the facility and it is top notch. They're bringing AI in, which is another good thing as far as I'm concerned. My dad was a tech guy. We weren't millionaires growing up, but I'll have to tell you, I got to wear nice clothes and we had meat on the table because of his tech jobs. He always wound up in some kind of a manufacturing higher position as far as management, but he always believed it starting at the bottom. And that's what he told us when we were growing up. Start at the bottom so you can know all the jobs. But how can we bring favoritism to parents who feel like their kids are not doing all they can be if they choose not to go to college and go to a tech school?
First of all, 4-year college is not for everybody. In fact, I would make the case now that college, in a lot of cases, the wokeness that's come in, the fact they're not training for those students to have a job that they love and bring benefit to the state and wherever they work. I will, at my role as a U.S. Senator, job fairs, a lot of the children don't know what's out there. They don't understand that a welder can make 6 figures. They don't understand that a plumber can make the same thing. We've got to show the menu of what's available out there. And I will go to the companies to ask, what do you need? What do the technical colleges need to provide to educate your workforce better? They'll tell you. And I will do that, but you got to let them know what's out there. Not everything with a 4-year school is advantageous to the children that are going there. And the fact that now you have so much debt in many cases going to a 4-year school, that the technical schools teach a hands-on experience, and they're the ones that will work at the Boeings, the Michelins, the Continentals. And I need to be an advocate for that, and I will.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And start their own businesses. That's the neat thing about tech jobs that people don't understand, especially some parents, is, you can work as with someone to learn the skill. And then a little bit later, if you decide, go ahead and graduate and start your own business. If you've got your customers and they love you and you've given excellent customer service, they'll follow you wherever you go. Then you can always retire. I know a man in Alabama who started out exactly that way. He retired, and guess what? He still works when he decides he wants to go to Hawaii. He'll go out and just train employees at manufacturing companies. And that's exactly what he does.
The secret to finding out what you want to do, and I tell young people this, and I had a headhunter tell me this one time who found jobs for people in different areas. He said, if you really want to know what you're meant to do, ask 2 questions. What do you read in your spare time? What do you gravitate to when you don't have to? And secondly, what, if you don't read, is it fixing cars? Is it computers? Is it self-taught things? And that's what we've got to make South Carolina incubator for up and coming young business people to do what God intended them to do. And it's if you love what you do, you'll never go to work a day in your life. You love what you do. Here with what you're providing, it's not work for you, and that's the kind of environment that I want to foster in this state, and I can do it at a federal level, and I look forward to being that advocate.
Well, I got to tell you, I grew up in Alabama, and when the Honda company came in, they went to close to the Talladega area in Lincoln, took a tour there. And I'm going to tell you, it was cleaner than most hospitals, and hospitals are clean. So I'm just telling you, if you think of those as being dirty jobs, they're not dirty jobs anymore because we have the technology around that actually helps. And I'm just telling you, on the police force, I think if you think there might be a bomb somewhere and you're in the police department, you would be glad for robotics to come in and take care of that.
Exactly.
So those things are absolutely out there. Can you believe half the show is over? Let's go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards, and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding. Hey, Stan.
What's up? I made you something.
Oh, thank you.
And I got something for you. You grew these?
Of course. Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television podcast and radio talk show. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday. Continue sending email, by the way, Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. And we've got a great audience. People ask about sponsoring, and I always say it's because we have wonderful guests. And we also have a great audience who have sent in some questions. A lot of the questions sent to you, Congressman Norman, is about the economy and about education, that kind of thing. But I wanted to send this one to you. What changes could you make or would you make to the federal tax code?
Federal tax code, one, is too complicated. It's a tax code that's convoluted that you can, if you have enough money, you can maneuver around paying the tax. It's got to be simplified. The fair tax, I've always been in favor of. It's one that is fair and one that takes out all the costs that goes to figuring out what you do owe. It's not possible to get it passed right now, though, because the lobbyists have their control. I would support a fair tax all day long, and it's the right way to go. That being said, you'd have to lower the taxes and be an advocate for less taxes And you do that through less regulations. You do that through going to the business and saying, what is a duplication on the tax code? What would you do away with to make your business more successful, whatever that may be? That's how I would start. And then I'd start advocating for it. People don't realize that in the budgeting process, you go through a vetting, and your representative can make a difference, particularly the senators. I'll give you an example. They were going to take out the interest deductibility on car dealers who had a floor plan. We got that put back in where you could deduct it. The 1031 tax deferred exchanges that real estate investors have used successfully, they're going to take it out. And you have a lot of young people who are hired hands that make decisions. It ought to be business people who are bearing the brunt of what they're putting on paper and codifying into law. I will be an advocate for doing that. I know how the process works since I've been up there.
Absolutely. A lot of folks are talking about the border, and a lot of questions have been asked about that. But let me mention this. We moved to South Carolina about a year and a half ago. Needless to say, we bought the house because of the land. Had nothing to do with the house. House is good structure. We've had a lot of work done, but there is a guy who is from Mexico. He is an American citizen, I'm happy to say. And so my daughter-in-law also is from Russia, was brought here when she was 9 years old, and is an American citizen. So what can we do about border control?
Well, first of all, you got to get the illegals out. If you didn't come here legally, you don't have a place here. You don't deserve to get on the free giveaways that this country provides people. Second, we got to continue building the wall. I'm not against immigration. I am against illegal immigration. It's got to be legal. It's got to be a process. The Biden administration opened the doors for over 190 countries because they wanted to create a power base to keep them in office. The bottom line is you need to be here legally, and there ought to be a way to vet who's coming in the gates. You wouldn't open your house to your business. Open the door to your business or the doors to your house, let everybody in. You just wouldn't do that. We've got to do the same thing. And we've got to work on a fair way to keep those who have worked here for a while and have paid taxes and that have not had any crimes committed. There ought to be a way to vet them and, have something for them so that they can continue to provide the work that a lot of Americans won't do.
Here's a question. I thought this was a pretty good one, and I like the candor of it. Not giving in, how would you be able to work with Democrats in getting bills passed?
A lot of cases you can't today. It's not the Democrat Party of the 60s and 70s. When you say crossing that line, look at what's happening. It's total socialism. And if you're a Democrat today, you either buy into their philosophy, which is total government control, government-run gas stations, government-run supermarkets, or you capitulate and have something in between. There's nothing like what's made this country great: capitalism, working hard, having keeping the fruits of your labors. And the Democrat Party doesn't believe that now. And so what I would do is I would try to work with them. I can be friends with them, but policy-wise, we're going in two different directions. You can't get on the interstate. So one person wants to go north, one wants to go south. You have to make a decision. And with what this country is facing right now, with its debt and with the crisis we have at every level, we don't have time to solve. Milquetoast politicians are not going to work today.
Absolutely. Let's find another question. You got a lot of them. You got a lot of fans here. Let's see. Well, okay, this is a good one too. What should America's role be regarding conflicts overseas, and where should Congress draw the line?
Well, first of all, I'm not for endless wars. I think we support our democracies. Israel is a friend of ours. Taiwan is a friend of ours. We're trading partners with them. China is not. Russia is not. Iran is not. And the war has changed in the way that it was fought in the World War I, World War II. Vietnam War was a politician's war. But bottom line is, it's not pulling tanks in and putting boots on the ground. It's drones. It's the air superiority. It's just a different war now. So I think the president is right to end the war on terror, which was the mantra of Iran. He's right to end that. He's got to totally destroy him. And then you make sure that we know where our money's going if we're going to support a country that's a friend of ours. But if you look at our financial situation, you can't be everything to everybody all over the continent. NATO, those countries need to put their fair share in. They're not doing it. But we got to make sure the health of America is first and foremost instead of other countries.
Absolutely. Good one right here. Rural hospitals continue to struggle. What can Congress do? What can you do as a senator to improve health care access in rural South Carolina?
It's a challenge. Hospitals are closing left and right. They're going to where the masses of people are. But that's not the main problem. The main problem is the health care for every American is way too high. Now, some can pay for it. But we need to pick a plan that you can cherry pick and put what coverage for what you want. It's different from a 25-year-old man or woman, their coverage, versus somebody that's 60 and 65 and older. It changes. We got to be able to have the insurance costs that the businesses can deduct. We got to get the insurance companies to simplify so we know what we're paying for. We don't know what we're paying for. If I had to read what's on a simple billing, you don't know where the money's going. And it's two prices if you pay cash, and it's another price if you basically go through the process with insurance companies where they pay it. The insurance companies, we've got to understand what we're paying for. And bottom line, let the South Carolinians pick their own plan and not have somebody else do it. And if you can get it across state lines, just like a car, you ought to be able to buy it where you get the best price. That's what we have to advocate for.
Under a minute and a half left in this segment. Folks are not getting out and voting like they should. I grew up in a household. One was a Democrat, one was a Republican, and even they went out. They were that stubborn. Because I used to question that. You're canceling each other out. Why are you voting? But they did. And I just thought everybody did. But we're looking at such a low percentage of people who vote, even in the general election. What can we do to get folks to get out and vote?
We've got to educate the people of why it's important. Look, now your vote matters, particularly when you have less than 20% of those registered voters voting. We will be lucky in the governor's race. We had 470-some thousand people vote. We got 3.2 million people registered.
It's ridiculous.
In the runoff, we had 300 something. We'll be lucky in this for the Senate that you're electing somebody for 6 years to have 200,000. That's sad. I hope I'm wrong. But if to affect change, it involves putting the people in office that you think will make the changes that will keep this state great. I'm the only one that's got the business background. I'm the only one that's got a record. No other person was endorsed by the two most conservative senators, in Mike Lee and Senator Scott and Jim DeMint. So, you got to put people in office that will do the hard work. I'm willing to do that, and the American people deserve it, particularly South Carolina.
Absolutely. This is a special edition of Donna's Edge. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much, Congressman Norman, for being with us. And we'll be pulling for you with the election.
Donna, thank you.
There will be special
so
segments 6 p.m. throughout the election, okay? So anyway, we'll be seeing you guys later. Thank you again for being with me on the show.
Thank you, Donna. Appreciate it.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.